It was a year after my husband's sudden and tragic passing that the phone calls began. At first, I dismissed them as hallucinations brought on by grief, but as the messages grew more disturbing, I couldn't ignore the chilling truth. They were calls from beyond the grave. The first call came on a rainy Tuesday evening. I was sitting in the dimly lit living room, my husband's favorite book in hand, trying to find solace in the words he had loved. The phone on the coffee table began to ring, its shrill tone cutting through the quiet of the room. My heart leaped with hope as I reached for the phone, my fingers trembling with anticipation. But when I answered, there was only silence on the other end. I called out my husband's name, tears welling in my eyes, but there was no response. The second call came the following night, at the same time. This time, I heard my husband's voice, a faint whisper that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the phone. He spoke words of love and reassurance, telling me that he was at peace and watching over me. Tears of joy streamed down my face as I listened to his voice, my heart filled with a bittersweet sense of comfort. It was as if he had found a way to reach out to me from the other side, to offer me solace in my darkest moments. But as the days turned into weeks, the messages began to take on a sinister tone. My husband's voice grew distant, his words more cryptic and unsettling. He spoke of things that I couldn't understand, dark secrets and forbidden knowledge that sent shivers down my spine. I tried to dismiss the messages as figments of my imagination, as the product of my grief-stricken mind. But the calls continued, each one more chilling than the last. It was as if my husband's spirit had become trapped in a nightmarish realm, and I was the only one who could hear his desperate cries for help. I confided in a close friend about the calls, hoping for guidance and reassurance. She urged me to seek the help of a spiritual medium, someone who could help me communicate with my husband and uncover the truth behind the messages. Reluctantly, I agreed, and we arranged for a session with a renowned medium named Madame Isabel. As I sat across from her in a dimly lit room, her eyes closed in concentration, I could feel a sense of anticipation and trepidation washing over me. Madame Isabel began to speak in a low, melodic voice, her words carrying an otherworldly quality. She described my husband's presence in vivid detail, recounting memories and shared moments that sent tears streaming down my face. But as she delved deeper into her trance, her expression changed, her features contorting with unease. She spoke of a darkness that clung to my husband's spirit, a malevolent force that sought to corrupt and consume him. With a sense of dread, I listened as Madame Isabel explained that the messages I had been receiving were not from my husband at all, but from the malevolent force that had taken hold of his spirit. It had used my grief and vulnerability to gain access to my world, to torment and manipulate me. I was paralyzed with fear as Madame Isabel conducted a ritual to banish the malevolent force, her incantations filling the room with an eerie energy. I watched in horror as the room seemed to come alive with a swirling darkness, a force that resisted her efforts to expel it. But with a final, determined incantation, Madame Isabel managed to sever the connection between the malevolent force and myself. The room was filled with a blinding light, and I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. When I opened my eyes, Madame Isabel's face was filled with relief and exhaustion. She explained that my husband's spirit was now free, that he had found peace on the other side, but the memory of the malevolent force's messages would forever haunt my dreams. In the months that followed, I tried to move on from the nightmarish ordeal, to find solace in the knowledge that my husband was at peace. But the calls from beyond had left their mark on me, a chilling reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown. I couldn't help but wonder about the malevolent force that had sought to torment me, to use my grief as a gateway into my life. What had it wanted? What secrets had it held? As the years passed, I found myself drawn to the study of the supernatural, seeking answers to the questions that had haunted me. I delved into the world of the occult, consulting with experts and seeking out ancient texts that held the key to unlocking the mysteries of the afterlife. But the more I learned, the more I realized that some mysteries were meant to remain unsolved, that the forces that exist beyond our understanding are best left undisturbed. And as I closed the book on that dark chapter of my life, I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the protection of Madame Isabel and the knowledge that had saved me from the malevolent force that had sought to claim my soul.